Let's think about a student who moves through this program sophomore year, junior year, senior year. Now they're coming out and they've done, and they're only 22, right? Yep. So they haven't done much, but they've done a few things that they can actually talk about and say that they've done. Let's make a list of things we would wish in our dream world the kids would have done when they graduate with this degree called integrated media. We'll just throw out a bunch of crazy things. We want kids who can say when they go into an interview for whatever their job, whatever their career path might be, I've done X, Y, Z, A, B, C. What are those elements of things we want them to have accomplished in their undergraduate experience at the Harrington School's integrated media major?
I'll throw one out. I've learned how to listen.
Great. Bravo. Who's next?
How about I got an app in the App Store?
Oh, I built an app.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep going.
I've worked on a team.
Nice. What else?
I created an integrated campaign from scratch. I've implemented it and evaluated it.
Created, implemented, and evaluated.
A capstone course that they do.
Yeah, a campaign. Keep going.
I built something for my community.
Nice. What else?
I read a bunch of stuff that changed the way I think.
I changed the way I think based on new information. Oh, yeah.
I'd love to see them create content and show it to me. You know, video content, graphic content, any creative content.
Right. I guess I would say I had the chance to deepen my curiosity about something I didn't think I would be interested in.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I learned how to critique the work of others.
Yeah.
Yes, provide feedback. I will say I experienced, and I also learned how to recognize empathy. Something around empathy.
But both experienced empathy and empathically.
I elicited the empathy of others.
I elicited the empathy of others.
I experienced it, and I also helped others experience it.
I learned how to learn from my mistakes.
Oh, bravo.
I learned how to iterate. Someone brought that up. That's a great one.
The fail-fast concept of Silicon Valley. I love that.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, I knew how to take risks. And I'll tell you where I went too far. I know that when we have new interns here, I mean, that's part of the conversation I have with them is I'm gonna ask you that in 90 days. Where did you go far? Where'd you go too far? And you better have found that spot.
Nice. Okay, that was actually really productive. Did anybody want to add some last words to that? I found that provocative and useful. Our faculty will be inspired by that, I'm sure.
I would say, I mean, a biggie, and this is one, I mean, I would still like to have. I learned how to learn new technologies. You know that feeling when you get this, like, there's another thing that I'm going to have to learn? I mean, I still have a block about when there's a new piece of technology, I hope it goes away so I don't have to learn it. And I feel like had I been educated differently about technology, I wouldn't see them as obstacles. I'd see them as new possibilities. I don't really have a methodology for when there's a new piece of technology, how do you learn to use it and not be intimidated by it?
Given how much disruption there is in not just all of these industries we're talking about, I would like people to say, I am comfortable with ambiguity, and I feel confident in my ability to adapt to changing circumstances.
And going along a little bit with that, in your earlier comment also on empathy is, sort of, I've learned how to understand differences. And I think that's one of the important things about audiences and to people and how to communicate to folks is understanding the dimensions of other people and what motivates them and how you can communicate to them effectively.
That's huge. Daphne, Ashley, you want to comment on this remarkable list or talk about how some of that learning already happens at the Harrington School and what else we might add to that list?
Sure, I'll say a couple of things. It's exciting to hear the list, really exciting, because it's some of the what we've been trying to tweak out of our conversations, and you know, I'm sure Tom has something to say about this, but the engaging with the professional experience and our professional affiliations are designed to do a lot of what you talked about, such that students work with a client, identify the needs of those clients, produce what the client needs, present it to the client, and then go back to the drawing table and incorporate what the client wants improved upon or changed, and then to be able to do that with each other.
Right.
So our sort of, whether it's a capstone that you mentioned or our, you know, field experience, that's what it's designed to do at the sort of end result, if you will. And I think we have ways along the way to integrate that as well. It's very, there's a lot of hands-on challenges for the students to demonstrate what they're learning versus only have it in their head.
And so in a way, that reference to hands-on and Doug's point about this learning how to learn technologies, why don't we have a little conversation about what reasonable expectations are there around the technology competencies that a graduate of the Harrington School's integrated media major, what technology competencies would you expect to find with that student? I think learn how to learn is the most foundational. Are there other technology competencies that you'd put up there that you'd want to see coming out of just a 22-year-old from the Harrington School's integrated media major?
Well, they should know how to shoot and edit and upload video. You know, they should know how to write, basically. They should know, they should be at least, if not able to program, at least they should be digitally fluent enough to read programming and understand how that works.
That's a good start. What else? Alan? Linda? Barbara?
I mean, I'd love for, and many here do, but, you know, to be able to demonstrate that they built their own, you know, website on WordPress, know a little bit about PHP, Photoshop, some creative tools. But, you know, I would definitely agree. Maybe here it's just commonplace, almost, you know, table stakes, but people have to be very technology comfortable. But more than that, they really need to be technologically curious, okay, and really enjoy the fact that technology changes and want to embrace it and kind of get really excited about it as opposed to try to avoid it. Because when you look at integrated media and the total world that they're moving into, you know, it's just like pencil and paper. They better be used to it.
Yeah, oh, go ahead.
Well, they should be able to know something about media and its effects.
Yeah, which is another piece that I, you know, was in the back of my mind when other folks were talking. But, you know, on the curriculum or those points, there's huge social impacts to, you know, there's new media, new digital conversations going on out there. There is, let's say, if you're going to have clients, you know, a little bit of security and you know, the ways to use that don't expose your client in ways. I mean, I would also emphasize that, you know, we're talking about public relations or communications or marketing for clients and their brands. I mean, everybody has a brand. I mean, everybody's brand now is their personal brand, and what they do online is going to follow them forever. So you better watch out, because when we're here at the other end on the employer side, we know a lot about somebody before they come in for their first interview, and or let's put it this way, know a lot about someone before they never get invited to the first interview. So you know, what you put on a resume isn't the only resume you're creating out there, and you may want to make sure that they understand that, and also the resume that they now, if they're on a client team, that's reflected upon them and their client.
With everything they create.
I was going to say that to me it's hard, because when you see the rapid pace of technological development, I'm not sure that we can, at this stage, actually predict what technology skills someone's going to need in 4 years. But I will say that we know there are fields that are highly important. You know, the ability, like there are analytical tools, just things around SEO and search that, you know, if we had known how important search was going to be for people's media creation and consumption habits, we would have spent a lot more time teaching people what the mechanics of search are. You know, the field of predictive analytics is becoming more and more important in terms of behavior or just relevance, making sure that what we're doing is relevant to the audience that we're serving, our clients. I think, you know, you mentioned about making sure that you understand what the needs of clients are if they're going to if you're going to go out and do business for them. So I think those fields of design think, of iterative and innovation, and the tools, the very basic tools that are used, have to be part of any digital literacy kit that we might, skills set that we might seek to arm students with, so that they can say, this is my digital literacy toolkit, this is what I know how to do, and because I know how to do these things, I am confident that whatever new technology comes down the pipe, I can adapt to, I can learn.
You know, I just wanted to weigh in and say that listening to this feedback is actually very encouraging, because when I hear Alan say our students should be able to produce, and then I hear Linda say that they should be able to understand, measure, and communicate, and then also several people, Linda said they should learn differences, and that's exactly the kind of thing that we've talked about. We do those kinds of things now. We do develop those skills and offer them, but we do them in separate programs.